You won't hear me now. 10:13, we're busting out. It started to fall, so we might be a bit luckier than I thought. Even the lock is starting to fall out. Can't so much water's on the river though. Right, let's push on. As you can see, we've got slush pies up to our knees at times in slush. So I've had to take some of the bags out. I'd never get a fully laden trolley through there where the drifts are. So I'm going to have to leapfrog it towards the river. The river's going to be swollen, so we're going to have to check that out. But once we're across the river, things will improve. Look at that idiot. I'm absolutely drenched from my knees down. The first burn that I showed you yesterday with all the ice on, well, it thawed underneath and it was like 2 foot of water, but I didn't realise, but there was ice still all over the top. So I thought it was only about 6 inches, so I put my foot on it straight down. And once I committed, I committed. It's a mess. Everything's falling out and just turning into rivers everywhere. But we're getting there. I'm doing fine. Spirits are high. Big thumbs up. Chaos. But we'll get there. 2.5 hours to get to the river crossing, which looks pretty risky. Get here, Rebel. Stay there. Yeah, way too deep. Icy as well. So you slip, you can fall over. Oh. Woo! We've done it. And if you can hear me, we got the trolley across. Can you believe that? Oh, now we're on an easier track now. Thank God for that. Oh, murder. I am frozen from the thighs down. I'm absolutely soaked. The water came up to here. And I splash sometimes. Right, I've got to get moving, keep yourself warm. Cross this one. Shield you. It was waist deep. I had to do it about 5 or 6 times to get the gear across and get the dogs. It was crazy. The only other choice was to go all the way back and do the other one again, which would have been crazy again. It was waist deep and it was pulling you. Very dangerous. It was really, you know, borderline that way. But technique, lean into it. Don't let your feet get pulled out under you. But whew, that one was woof. And that's normally the good one. This one is a little ford normally. Not even ankle deep. Thigh deep in the middle. Got absolutely drenched again. Well, just above knee side. Freezing. I do it 3 or 4 times to get dogs and gear over. Absolutely chilled to the bone from knee down. The bag's there. Got to go and get the bear again. It's just slush. The wheels won't grip anything. Digging in. It'll take all day, so I've had to do leapfrog again. This is what I did when I was going up. It's a pain in the backside. This is doubling your distance. Time is 16:05. We started at 10. So we've been doing 6 hours now. About halfway. But there's a bonus. Soon we'll hit the lodge. And that's where the guy will be up and down. He's been up here once, but it hasn't crushed the snow down enough. There's no track showing. That's another thing, there's ice I've been over once. I didn't see it. Water was running over it like this. And it was ice, so you got to kind of be tentative with your steps. So I'm picking up my bag. Luckily nothing's really heavy because all the heavy gear's gone. Food. We're going to stop at the schoolhouse tonight and sleep there. There's no way I'm going to do all this and then drive 11 hours. That would just be stupid, wouldn't it? I thought I'd show you before I get started what I'm up to. Because probably next time you see me, you'll be at the schoolhouse later on when we've settled. Do I regret doing it? No. It's an experience crossing them rivers when you have to do 5 or 6 times because you got the dogs to come, barrow has to go separate, the bags have to go. No, it's an experience. It's very dicey, of course, especially when it's waist high, but it's well worth the experience. You learn a lot about yourself, your strengths and weaknesses, and what you can really do. That's another thing. All these little brooks, used to be a little stream here. Everything turns into, whoops, shin deep now. My feet have been that wet, but the good thing is they're starting to warm up. I don't know. They were freezing early when I was doing the river crossings. The worst thing is, doing river crossing, the power of the water is really hitting you. And every now and then it gets a big chunk of ice to come at you. Like a little iceberg. Try and knock you off your feet. Right, I better put you away and get these bits. 2 minutes to 10. What a trek that was. I think that was worse than the one with the snow. Because the one with the snow you could make progress. But this one, yep, 2 minutes to 10. Oh dear, what to say. Them river crossings were lethal. I crossed the first one and that was bad enough. Got to the second one, which is normally really thin. I mean, sorry, not deep. Sorry, I'm tired. It was worse than the first one. It was waist high. Several times I tried to get across. I couldn't get across. Backed away. Walked up the river. Walked down the other side. Checked the other river. I thought, what am I going to do? Because the only alternative is to go back to the first one, do the first one again, and then go all the way around by land, which would, it would make the job even 100 times worse. So I put a backpack on, my Gregory, which isn't too heavy, and tried the technique, you know, lean into it, watch your feet 1 foot at a time. But I tell you what, it was grabbing your feet and trying to bring them off, you know what I mean? Any time I could have gone, any time. But the worst thing was, I had to do it about 3 times for my kit, which meant, you know, the Gregory bag, the first one, the other bags for the second, and the barrow, believe it or not, that floated. Hold on, I've got to cover my dog. She's decided to get up and uncover herself. I want them dry and warm. That's better. As always, look after dogs, number 1. I come number 2. That's the same, yeah. So, done that second one. It took a lot of effort, trust me. As I say, about 5 times, I'm guessing. Hold on, I've got my torch on now. So I thought, that's it, brilliant. What more can I be faced with? And then I got to another one, and that third one is normally a little ankle deep brook. stream, whatever you like to call it. I think they call them burns here. It was 5 deep. It was going like the clappers. So I thought, oh my God. And for some reason, road couldn't get over it. So I had to go do 2 or 3 trips, get a kit over, and then get each dog and put them on a lead, because I think by now they were getting fed up crossing freezing water. It was fast, very, very fast water. So I get by that, and it's took a lot out of me. So I'm pushing on, and it's just slush after more slush. And I'm thinking, the guy's going to be, sorry, I'm drinking my coffee while chatting to you. The guy's got to be out and about last few days. So he must have made tracks, you know, in the slush, so I can push this barrow, or pull the barrow much easier. But he hadn't gone far down. It obviously was that bad for his 4x4 and his track vehicle that he didn't go far. Eventually, I did reach where he'd been using his vehicles. But then you think, oh, brilliant. Oh, I've got a nice ridge, you know, 2-wheeled ridge all the way out, and they're quite wide. But what had happened, when he'd done it, it'd all gone slushy, and then it had frozen. So I put my grippers on and carried on. Then it would go to slush, and then the grippers would just collect all the slush and turn it into right mess, and it made walking really hard. The barrow fell over God knows how many times. Thankfully, everything was in dry bags. I'll get back to that one in a minute. As you can see, one of those blankets is wet. So, I'm pushing on to Corriemulzie lodges. I eventually reached them, and I'm like, thank you. And it's just ice everywhere, all the way from there back down to here, where I am now in the schoolhouse, Bothy. So, I put my grippers back on. Nearly fell over. Oh, I did fall over once before I put the grippers on, because there was patches where it was slushy, patches where it's icy. You didn't know where to walk. Luckily, I just grazed the knee. So, 7:30, I'm just approaching the schoolhouse. I see torchlight, and I'm thinking, who's out with a torch? I thought poachers, because you do hear them stories, don't you? You know, people out poaching. I thought it can't be the guy. He wouldn't be out at this time of night. You know, the one that does the culling and probably works the estate or owns the estate. I don't know which it is. So I bumped into 2 people, a gent and a lady, all packed up, rucksacks, gear, even had a dog on the lead. And I said, like, where you going? And they said, where you been? I said, Magoo's. And they said, that's where we're going. I said, you're joking. I mean, it's pitch black by this time, you know what I mean? It got dark about 4 o'clock. And the temperature dropped, but it wasn't freezing, but it had dropped. So I says, where are you going? And, are you serious? You know Magoo's? I says, I've just come from that. Don't try the river crossings, because I mean, I did it during daytime, you know, when it was daylight. There's no way on this planet I would cross them rivers in that condition, and they seem to be getting worse in the dark. It would be so foolish. So I said to him, please, please don't use the river crossings. Go the other way. Go over the bridge. I mean, they got no barrow. They're not going to be pulling it across dunes and snow and holes and all that. And they got hiking poles. So I says, look, whatever you do, please don't use these river crossings. I explained how dangerous they were, how I was lucky, you know what I mean? And that's what it was all down to, luck. Because I was putting every ounce into getting across them rivers. So they looked on the maps and got a phone out, and they also had a map on the phone. They said, right, thanks for letting us know. I told them that that's only half the problem. When you get on the track leading to Magoo's, even from the rivers, it's all 3 foot, 4 foot drifts. I mean, it's terrible. It's absolutely unbelievable how it's turned out. So I said to him, you know, you're going to be, I mean, I set off at 10. I got in this schoolhouse about 10 to 8, but I've been chatting to them. So it took me 9.5 hours basically to get to the schoolhouse. I can't remember the miles. It's got 19 down here, but I did a few. Oh no, that'd be about it, wouldn't it? 19 miles. Wow. But I was going to and fro, coming back with the buggy, the trolley, and picking gear up and all that, and getting the dogs across the river and everything. They won't have to do that, but even so, they left. I left them at 7:30. They're at the Corriemulzie lodges, just approaching them. With them conditions, even going across land after using the bridge and then trying to get through them drifts, they'll be lucky to get there two tonight. I tell you, and that's not exaggeration. The conditions are absolutely lethal out there. They got worse because when it was snow and it was dry and it was powdery, that's all you had to deal with, and it was blowing in your eyes and the temperature, you know, and I never got wet once. But when you're crossing rivers, I mean, even what they've got to go and cross just to get to where the bridge is, where they're going to use the land route to kind of bypass them bad rivers, they're still going to get soaked. It's 5 deep, you know, in some of them little burns, you know. Unbelievable. I was getting wet, and in the end I was freezing because you keep getting soaked. It's not good, you know, from your knees down. Well, as I say, at times it was my waist. The funny thing is, my trousers dried with all that hiking. Oh, right. Now going back to when I was going across the river, you can only hold your bags and gear up so high because the weight, you know. The other thing, you've got to have a good centre of balance when you're going across a river. If you start holding things above your head, you're going to go topple over and go backwards, or, you know, worse, you're going to get driven down the river. So you're trying to keep your centre of gravity about, you know, just above waist, you know. So some of the bags were dangling in the water, and I don't know how their blanket got wet. But the worst thing was, I double bagged my sleeping bag, and up near the hood, it's soaked. So it must have been the last bit I stuffed in the bags, but there must have been a little gap. I'm going to have to do something about that. I don't want that happening again, because the sleeping bag's always in the bottom of your rucksack, and that's probably a bad thing in a way. I might have to change that as well, because if you're crossing rivers, that's around your waist, and your sleeping bag is more or less dangling in the water, and that's what was happening, even though it's in the rucksack. So I've just had I can't remember, is it REI or real turmeric Thai curry, I think it was. It wasn't very nice, I got to be honest. Now I'm having chocolate biscuits and coffee. I've got hand warmers in my socks. Everything's drying off. Dog's done. I mean, again, going back to dogs, for some reason they switch on when they do these things. There's no messing about. The only time they start messing about is near the end, where when they knew everything was okay. Look at her twitching, and she's all right. I just picked up the blanket and checked her. They're warm. You know, she's shaking because of probably excitement, nerves, all the things they've gone through. I mean, Stella's the old one, and she's fine. She's crashed out and warm. Rebel's nice and warm, so if they're warm, and they're generating their own heat between each other, so they'll be fine. I'm a bit croaky because I was shouting at dogs. It was freezing. Them rivers, scary. But anyway, did I enjoy it? I mean, now looking back, I know a load of people watch these videos or listen to or see what I did, and they go, stupid. But you got to understand, I pushed on to the Bothy, which was a mistake, but I pushed on to the Bothy believing there'd be 2 to 3 inches lower ground, 4 to 5 above. Now you'll say, well, that's, you know, you got to expect worse in the Highlands. Well, that was the forecast for the Highlands. Last 2 years I've expected snow at this time of year. Never got it, even though they predicted it, and completely disappointed, and I played safe. So I pushed on to the Bothy. Their prediction again of a mass thaw about 3 days ago never happened. The thaw started now. So I had no choice. Once you're committed, once you're in, you've got to get out. And I knew what I was doing. I sat tight for them 5 days. I rested, I fed, I kind of did everything, sat in front of a glowing fire every night. I had such an experience, and I really enjoyed every second of it. As I say, you learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about your dogs as well. They are real solid dogs, you know. No stress, no problems. What they took on. I mean, Rogue, she crossed one of the really bad rivers by herself. Swam across, got swept away, and I was like, oh my God. But she stopped at some rocks, shook herself, got out on the bank, and fine. Dogs are so resilient, aren't they? Stella did the first one, but panicked at the second, so I had to go over, as I say, with the lead. Rebel was the worst one. I keep going over with lead to get him over the rivers. For some reason, he just didn't like it. He's not over keen on water, to be honest. Freaks him out. So, a soggy hood, one soggy dog blanket, soggy backpacks and all that. But would I ever do anything like that again? No. That's a once in a lifetime thing to do. So have a look at the clips. You'll see what I mean. Please don't underestimate them, that speed of that water and the depth. Imagine waist height and at that speed. It's not funny. And as I say, I have no reason to kind of exaggerate the depth, or I tell you as it is. And as I say, I'll probably get a lot of criticism for going out to this Bothy and going this far. Ah, fair enough, I'll take it on the chin. I understand. But I had a great time, great experience, and I'm absolutely shattered now. I'm 63. I should be stopped doing it. I was doing this when I was like 26 with the forces, you know what I mean? Crossing rivers, smashing ice and all that to get across. Something like that, them rivers, we would have used a rope or used a tandem system, like guys would have stood across the river and you'd use the guys to get across with your kit. You would not go one at a time across there, because at the end of the day, if you could lose 2 or 3 guys getting swept away. So, a lesson learnt, but I got across safely. No one got hurt. And that's it. I had a great time. So, hope you enjoyed them. Hope you enjoy the videos. I'll see you tomorrow morning just before I get clear off and leave and tell you what kind of night I had, because I'm doubling that on gear because I don't want to be wet. Luckily, the rest of the sleeper bag seems fine. Oh, I think my foot box is a bit damp, but my feet never go that low and I can easily hunch them up. So, right, I'll see you in the morning. What a day. Morning from the safe zone. 8:50. I still feel like I've had no sleep. A little bit of snow left out around here. The worst bit's the track where people have been driving up and down. It's still icy. But it made me laugh yesterday. It seemed all the snow had blown off the hills onto the track. So where it drifts like 3 or 4 feet. Anyway, I had fairly decent sleep. There was nothing wrong with this place. This is a lovely... Rogue, be quiet please. I'm talking. Look at her, she wants to get back out. She's not right in the head. She's stiff as well. Look, oh, she is a bit stiff, yeah. A bit lame, I think. It's all right. We've got about 800 metres to the car. It's only because she's overdone it. She'll be fine. Yeah, going back to sleep. Yeah, I mean, this is a lovely little room here. If it had an open fire, it'd be perfect. A nice little window to look out. We'd stay here for another week. Rogue, not too much. Rogue. She gulps water down. It's not good. Take a lot of wind down. Rogue, leave it. That's enough. Yeah, she's a bit lame on her left leg. She's just stiff. She'll run. They'll walk off. I didn't see her do any injury. She walloped it when she was crossing the river because she got swept away, as I said. I'll keep an eye on it. They're getting rested for a couple of days anyway. Yeah, it's a lovely room. Schoolhouse Bothy. I could hear some mice upstairs in the middle of the night, but it didn't come down, thank God. Everything's still wet, so I've got to put some really soaking boots on later. Not looking forward to that. As I say, it's only 800 metres to the car, so nothing to worry about. It's just, I've got to get a cup of coffee. I haven't got no protein bars, so I'm going to have chocolate biscuits for breakfast. Why not, eh? And then I've got an 11-hour drive. Oh boy, I'm not looking forward to that. But you have to go home sometime, don't you? A bit dark in here, sorry. Didn't realise. So I've got a few aches and pains. Dogs have got Stella be stiff, but she'll be alright. I'll give her a tablet in a minute and that'll help her. Rebel's the only one that don't seem to be walking wounded. I'm stiff. As I say, I took a fall yesterday. It was quite funny. There was a sheet of ice, and it's been slush all the way along. But this sheet of ice has got water running along it, so over the top of it. So I thought it was just slush. So I put my foot there, boom. And that's when you can get injured bad, you know what I mean? I had a backpack on as well. So, yeah, scuffed my knee. Wasn't happy at all. But not bad considering all the travelling I did. Hiking through blizzards on the way up and deep snow. Hiking through all that slush, crossing rivers and God knows what else. And all I get is a little grazed knee. I think I've done well. Cleaning kit is going to be fun. I'm going to have to, I've spent a week in these sleeping bags and all that. You can hear them, but they still smell, don't they? So I'm going to have to wash them. Get some tennis balls and stick them in the dryer after I wash them. That's about it. Right, I'm going to have breakfast. I'm tired. I think what it is now is you get the come down, don't you? You know what I mean? Where you know you've done your 6 days. It was supposed to be 6. It's 7 now. Today's 7th day. I originally planned only to come out for 4 days. Right, I'm going to have some breakfast. Chucky Bickies for breakfast. Oh, these two. Look, she's not too bad, is she, messing about? Just stiffen up. Rebel's being lazy, typical Rebel. He'll still chase it, looking for deer. We got to just past the Corriemulzie lodges, heading towards the bridge, Duig Bridge, and loads of deer were leaping out in the dark across the path in front of us. So he was not chasing them, but he was tracking them. So I call him back. So the guy that wants to shoot deer, all he has to do is stay down here with a rifle. I hope them people got to the Bothy last night, okay. The only thing I didn't do, and I wrote in the book, I didn't clean the fire out, but I left plenty of firewood. I left a whole bag of coal, firelighters and God knows what else, and quite a few bits. Even some of these tea tree candles things, I don't think they're very good, to be honest. But I was burning the fire till the last minute because it was still cold there, because you're always in the shade, and I hate to leave any mess for anyone, but that was the only thing I left. And I did write in the book, and I apologise. But I think considering we'd been snowbound for 6 days, I don't think anyone would mind. Right, yeah, I'm rambling. Go have breakfast. They're warm. It's not cold in here. I don't think it's that cold out, to be honest now. Right, breakfast. I'm rambling still. Bye, Rebel. All clean and tidy. Took my candles. Left no rubbish. Just damp floor. Show you, I mean, I've shown you this before. If you look back about a year and a half ago. Let's move on along. This is Schoolhouse Bothy, that's the sound. Musty in here. Don't know what that smell is. Very, very musty. And here you go. Spent suppose I should sign the book, shouldn't I? If there's a pen. And I bet there's no pen. What a shame. I ain't got no pens. I half expected somebody didn't put the telephone number up. Half expected kind of ghost of the headmistress, someone's left a trekking path. To kind of come look over me at the middle of the night and say, have you done your homework? Beautiful, isn't it? I believe it was a schoolhouse for the local area. Many years ago. And as you can see, they're doing it all up and rebuilding it. God, look at the state. Probably that's some of the smell, the mustiness. As I say, I have, I'll do that. And if you pause it and zoom in, you'll probably get some info. But came in handy, didn't it? If I can find a pen, I'll sign the book, but I don't think there's any pens anywhere. Damn, what a shame. Would have been nice to sign the book. Nothing in, hey, you never know. I don't know. Little things, people write on things. Right, we've got to move to the car for the last bits. Done one trip already, got the big stuff out of the way, it's just now the trolley with the last bits. I'll see you up by the car. Right, that's us done. 12:15, all loaded. I'm not going to show you dogs, they're fast asleep. Massive fall. Some of this track is icy, so I've got to be very careful. I didn't tell you on the way in, it was snowing, there was blizzards and everything. This is on the roads, this is. And there's some really fine roads. They're not even as wide as this track here. I come over a brow where I'm doing about 15-20, and another driver's coming at me, doing exactly the same because of the conditions. We both try and stop, we can't stop. Neither of us could stop. And we were going to hit each other. We were within about 20 feet of hitting each other. And I swerved around him, I don't know how. It was all down to luck again. And still got behind him. He stopped and looked, I guess in his rear view mirror, to see if I'd come off the road because there was ditches either side. I don't know how I got round him. It was just wide enough to get round him in one place. It just happened split second, so I didn't even get a chance to have a look around. And then I carried on driving, and I was like, hope that's not going to be the start of this adventure. And lo and behold, it was, wasn't it? Things went kind of pear-shaped. But lessons I'm learning, I've been doing it for years, you know what I mean? Don't believe in weather forecasters. That's a first, because as we all know, they get everything wrong. 2 to 3 inches, not a chance. Say 4 feet, 3 feet in some places. At best 10 inches, you know what I mean, in that first day. The other thing, don't push too far in at winter, because if things do turn, it's such a trouble to get out. Hold on, I'll get you out of the wind. So yeah, try not to push too far in. I over chewed or took too much, big bite. But I enjoyed it, loved it, great adventure. Dogs have got a few limps and sprains, but nothing serious. Stella stiff, that's nothing. We'll warm that in a minute. I've got an 11-hour drive back now. I'm looking at, I've got 7 days of stubble on my face. I look like some hermit that's been out in the middle of the wilderness and then suddenly come back and they kind of rescued him or something. But it was a great time. I loved every minute of it, even the hard bits. I never stopped smiling. Even when I was cursing. Barrow fell over a couple of times, I was cursing it, but I still enjoyed it. So, sorry about me sniffing, it's cold. I've had sleep, but it was broken sleep, and schoolhouse a bit dusty as well. I don't know where the next one's going to be. Hopefully no snow. I'd like to, it might even be in the Peak District for a quick overnight out, just to get Rogue used to being in a tent. We'll see. But I do love Scotland so much. It's just won my heart 100 times over. And again, that bloke that helped us on the first day move the gear, if it weren't for his help, we would have really been struggling. And again, he looks a bit stone-faced and all that, but he was really helpful, so I really did appreciate it. You'll never see this video, but I really did appreciate it. So, thanks for watching. I hope I haven't bored you on some of the talk. Before anyone says, why didn't you video crossing the rivers, or why didn't you video in the blizzards? I was fighting, not for survival, but I was fighting to get, you know, to a target because the conditions were so appalling. If I had taken one hand off one of the poles and held a camera, I would have gone down the river. Same in the blizzard. If I'd stopped taking video, it would have just made it longer. I would have wore out my battery, which I was using on the phone to navigate, because I couldn't even see 10 feet in front of me. I walked upon Magoo's Bothy at the end of that first day, and I was within 10 feet of it, but the snowstorm was so bad, I couldn't even see the Bothy. That's how bad. And if you ever go there or see some of the video, you can see the Bothy from far up the path along the lot. So I couldn't waste time. It would have been foolish for me to start filming things when things were getting serious. So I tried on the way back to show you some of the clips of the dangerous areas, like with the river crossings and all that. But yeah, I'm not going to do it to risk my life for YouTube extra votes or extra likes or anything. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks to all the subscribers. As I said, I've all said all along, I'm not doing it for subscriptions or anything like that. But I do, you know, I still do appreciate the people that do subscribe and do leave comments. And all I can say is thank you to everyone. I hope you enjoy. And don't forget, everyone, live the dream. Bye for now. God knows where we'll be next time. Goodbye.